Now, there is a major division going on right now, not just within the United States, but when you're looking at Hollywood, when you're looking at the film industry, we are actually witnessing a major division, whether it comes to different actors calling out other actors based on political views. We all know how people like Robert De Niro and among others out there, like Jane Fonda, for example, have said terrible things about Charlie Kirk after his assassination by politicizing it, turning it into an anti-Trump messaging campaign and more. Now, fortunately, we do have a handful of actors like Tim Allen, like others out there like Mel Gibson, James Woods, Sylvester Stallone, even Arnold Schwarzenegger started to really call out the insanity. And now you have Tom Cruise once again calling out the issues going on within Hollywood with the politics. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. You can also follow me at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. Now, one thing about Tom Cruise is that we all know that he's very passionate about his work. Say what you will about the guy, say what you will about his religion, but when you're focusing on his work, he truly is like the last action star when it comes to Hollywood. We all saw what he did with Top Gun Maverick. We all saw what he did with the latest Mission Impossible films, and what he's doing right now currently with Top Gun 3. Now, what's interesting here, though, has a lot more to do with his overall views on how there's a lot of actors out there, a lot of producers, writers, and directors saying hateful things about Charlie Kirk after his assassination on September 10th, and how it really is causing waves of people, waves of audience members to skip out on seeing movies in the theaters and to wait for it to arrive on streaming instead. So let's get into this. Now, with both the assassination of Charlie Kirk and the No Kings protest, a large wave of celebrities have been going off the rails to display their anti-Trump messaging campaign in the worst ways possible. Now, fortunately, more Hollywood actors are speaking out against others. Those like Tom Cruise, once again, telling it like it is to the world. When you take a look at what's going on, he says, now in this industry, I think what concerns me the most is that we are beginning to lose our way on what the people want. And this is a direct result of our industry getting far too mixed up with politics, he says. But what really saddens me the most, and alarms me for sure, there are big names out there that represent my industry that I really don't want to name, but I have lost all respect for them, sacrificing the art of cinema to push a political narrative. It's not good for the industry, for them, and for the audience, and it's making everyone look bad right now. What I want to stay true to is to just focus on making movies. The instant you begin to go down that political path and point fingers at your own fans because they hold a different political opinion, that's just splitting your chances of success with your next feature film or television series. And again, I have lost so much respect for many actors that said some terrible things about what happened in September. My motto is, if you have nothing nice to say, it's best to say nothing at all. My purpose in life right now is to just keep making movies until my time comes. And it doesn't matter if I'm acting, producing, or directing. I want to keep the basics intact. Something that many filmmakers lost over their political leanings. Look, we have some great things coming with Top Gun 3 that I think everyone will be excited about in the coming years, and some to be announced projects I'm working on that hopefully it will wake up this industry to just strictly stick to the arts and to cut it out with the politics already. How many of those in this industry reacted to what happened weeks ago, I think, was a very low point for this industry that should really be focused on movie making. Now guys, again, we all know that Tom Cruise is very passionate about filmmaking. He wants to strictly focus on making movies. He wants to turn the overall, point where you have a lot of actors getting way too political, getting way too mixed up in politics, whether it comes from their personal views or whether it comes to them saying it during their professional time working on the movies. You're seeing this way too often, and that's exactly why, like I pointed out in the last video, the studios, they are running out of funds right now because there are so many box office failures that have actually happened within the past 3, 4, 5 years that they are playing things extremely safe right now with, instead of $350 million for a movie, they'll play around with $180 million at the minimum. So he continues, and it can be very frustrating to see that this is what we have come to right now. Unfortunately, this is why we are dealing with a large percentage of people skipping the theater and sticking to streaming. But I think movies deserve to be on the big screen. Unfortunately, many of these studios and the talent that represents them decided it was a better direction to go using their base to push a political narrative. They will all have no one else to blame but themselves at this point as to why we are where we are right now in this industry, and why movie making is quite the challenge now for many filmmakers and the many talented actors out there. The politics need to stop, and the hateful comments about a tragic event also need to stop. We all need to keep focus on making movies. It's simple as that, to keep the magic going. My goal is originality. If you would build something original, it will attract a whole new audience. And you know what? That's a very interesting point, is that right now Hollywood, they are lacking originality. They are lacking original movies or original stories. Everything's focused on sequels or superhero films or something around those lines that already exist, right? And I think that when you're looking at films, right, you can really actually do something very creative. You can do something very different. Now look, we all know, yes, Top Gun 3 is a sequel, I get it. But what Tom Cruise does so very well is that he knows how to actually harness the concept of a sequel and to really do something very special with it. Whereas with Hollywood, typical Hollywood, when it's sequels, they just use that as nostalgia bait, for example, and it really does lack depth. It lacks a soul when it comes to the overall way it's written, directed, or acted by the actual actors. It really lacks all of that, and that's what Tom Cruise specializes in. That's why Top Gun Maverick was a masterpiece, and why it was by far one of the best sequels out there. You know, probably right on par with sequels like Terminator 2, for example, and how it really was just as good, if not better, than the first film. Now, one thing interesting about all of this, though, is that you have Tom Cruise, once again, showing his frustration, showing that he lost respect for a lot of big names out there, that he's unwilling to comment on exactly who he's talking about, but I think that we all know exactly who he's talking about. We know that Robert De Niro most recently went on MSNBC, calling the many members of Trump's administration Nazis, and also calling Trump supporters fascists. Jane Fonda did the same exact thing during the No Kings protest. John Cusack also said some very similar things out there. And that's why people are just very tired. They're beginning to actually lose all focus on movies coming straight out of Hollywood, and they're focusing on other avenues for entertainment, whether it's social media or whether it's independent filmmakers, for example. You're seeing a rise in that right now, and that's exactly why you have a lot of big names out there that are just trying to stick to the actual arts, right? People like Tom Cruise trying to stick to the actual magic of movie making. And that's basically why he's defending this. Sure, some people are going to say that maybe he's trying to defend, keeping a job in place or something around those lines, but I think he's being very genuine. I really do. Regardless of what you have to say about the guy's religion, focusing on Tom Cruise, like I said earlier, he truly is a passionate filmmaker and actor. But I would like to hear what everyone has to say about all of this below in the comments. Everything ranging from the current status in Hollywood and more. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. And I will catch you guys later.